say, screw it, I'm going to buy a veteran and take my 50-50 shot to win the league right now. I get that. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the desk. We've got a solo episode this week, but we're doing a roster review of Team Frozen. Thanks for the submission, man. If you guys want one of these, by the way, check out the link in the description below. There's a Google form. We just need your team name and your league ID, and you could be featured in one of these videos. Moving on to this roster, though, this one is all in, baby. We have a big-time contender, 12-team, 1-point PPR, half-point tight end premium, start 10 league. And this guy's got 2 cornerstones, which we love to see in Lamar Jackson and Justin Jefferson, and then 5 other guys that are sort of well over the line. They are going to score more this year than they are in the future. So we've got Adams, Henry, CMC, Dak, and Mike Evans. I'm looking at the anticipated scoring for this roster, and we are a top 3 team, at least in terms of our starters. We also don't have our 27 first, but we do have first round picks in 2028 and 2029. So, given that we've got top 3 scoring potential and we don't have our own first, I'm saying we go for it for one more year, at least as plan A. That being said, this is a very fragile team. You've got 2 great starting quarterbacks, Lamar and Dak, and you've got Jacoby Brissett as the quarterback 3, which I think is pretty much perfect for what you're trying to do here. That's as cheap as you can get while still getting productivity. But past those initial 10 starters, the 2 cornerstones, the 5 guys we mentioned, and then like Colston Loveland, BTJ, and Marvin Harrison Jr., we really don't have other players that we can plug in. We've got Dalton Kincaid, I guess, Brenton Strange, Josh Downs, and after that, it's nobody. And those guys are sort of barely in the replaceable category in terms of their production. So while I do think plan A is to contend, we should have a plan B in mind in case the injury bug bites. But let's go through some moves that we can look at to keep contending. I got a couple trade partners here. Trade partner 1 is the boys. This team to me looks like it's rebuilding. And I think you could ask for something like, Quinshon Judkins and George Kittle for like Marv and Josh Downs. You could even throw in Caleb Johnson if you wanted to give him a little bit more of an upside shot. But I think with Quinshon and Kittle, you got more scoring upside than with Marvin Downs, and I like the value insulation that you have, at least with Quinshon in that side. If you wanted to get a little more spicy, you could look at moving both Marv and Colston Loveland, trying to get like CD Lamb, George Kittle, and Michael Wilson off of him. That also is going to be decent for your value insulation with CD, but I think it'll also give you more scoring upside overall, and it would add Michael Wilson as a sort of backup guy that you could plug in on the bye weeks, or if one of your, Mike Evans or Devontae Adams gets injured. Another idea would be a quarterback down tier, so you could go from Marv and Lamar to like CD and Purdy. Again, I think that Purdy and CD have decent value insulation, and that would probably be scoring more points week to week than Lamar and Marv. Now, granted, if Marv has his breakout this year and he starts scoring 16, 17, 18 points a game, then, we missed it. But he's kind of one of the guys that I'm looking to maybe move from your roster. Any of these deals, by the way, that have Marv, if the guy you're doing the deal with really prefers BTJ, or if you really prefer Marv to BTJ, you can switch those interchangeably. I like BTJ better, so that's why I've been saying Marv for all these trades. But do it in your head. Those guys are basically value equivalent. And at the end of the day, what do I know? Trade partner 2, I'm looking at Team Bojangles. So this guy's got 3 2027 firsts, which to me says that he's probably reloading this year. Maybe not. Maybe he decides to deploy those firsts for some other assets and contend. But I think it's worth throwing a deal out there. I'd be looking at something like Marv and Josh Downs and picking up a few veterans from him. Maybe like ETN, Michael Pittman, and David Montgomery. Feel free if you prefer like Chris Godwin or Jacoby Myers instead of Monty to throw that into the deal instead. But I think he could let you increase your scoring upside a little bit, and again insulate with maybe one more depth guy just in case the injury bug bites. That being said, let's talk about Plan B. Let's say that Derrick Henry has finally hit his wall, right? He's not really producing anymore. CMC goes down with injury. What do you do? Well, you have to move any of the guys that aren't injured among Mike Evans, Devontae Adams, Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry. Um, any of them you can get something for, you should, because I think their value pretty much is all tied into their production this season. Heck, they could all be retired this time next year. I doubt they all will be, but any of them could be. And if you are rebuilding, then you don't want them on your roster. The other thing I would say is that you shouldn't anyway, feel like you have to overpay for your own 2027 first. I know a lot of times in rebuilds, that's one of the goals is to have your own first. But because this team is going to start the year contending, you're probably going to win some games. You're going to score a lot of points. So your own first is pretty unlikely to be top 3. I would say any of the rookie picks or ascending assets are totally fine to go after. Injured players, feel free if there's a situation similar to what happened last year, a Malik Neighbors type guy goes down. If you want to do a Lamar for a Neighbors kind of move just to pivot over, that's totally fine. But I hope you don't have to do that. I hope you can contend one more year. I think regardless, this roster is going to rebuild next year. So I would hold that 2028 first. I wouldn't really want to move that in season. I guess I could envision a scenario where like one of your key guys goes down right in week 13 and otherwise you're a top 2 team and you say, screw it, I'm going to buy a veteran and take my 50-50 shot to win the league right now. I guess that's fine. But I really don't see this team contending for multiple more years. I think this is your last window for now. Then you go into the rebuild and then you start contending again in 2028. So that's our 2 cents. I do hope it works out for you. Let us know in the comments, by the way, if you make any cool moves. We'd love to know this time next year how it worked out.
Hey guys, thanks for making it to the end of the video. If you don't mind, like and subscribe below.
And if you want a free roster review, check out the Google form in the description. Your team could be featured in one of our videos. See you in the next one.